In this video I'm going to show you how to draw the feet with a few simple steps. These steps will make the feet of your characters looking from blocks to actual feet. We'll also learn the building blocks of the feet so that with time you can draw them from imagination. Let's get into it with caution. So the feet are the second most difficult things to draw next to the hands. And by the way, if you're having difficulty drawing that, check out the video in the corner. Anyways, the foot is built up of 3 different parts, but we're gonna draw 4, including a small segment for the lower leg attaching to the foot. Starting with the leg section, which is going to be a cylinder tapering down slightly. Next, we're going to attach the heel, which is a round cylinder, a little bit larger and with soft corners at the bottom of it. Attaching to that is going to be the biggest part of the foot, which is a triangular shape with a cut at the end. This segment has a curve on the bottom, on the side of the big toe. And to finish it off, the last part is going to be the toes. From the middle segment's dip, you know that on that side the big toe is located. That's gonna be the basic look for the side view of the boots. Let's look at 2 more views before going into more details. Now, let's see how the foot looks from the front view. The segment of the leg is going to look the same, and the heel part is also going to look equal, attaching to the bottom. For the middle triangular segment is going to look like a triangle, but the bottom is a rectangle part, since that part is cut. For the toe section, let's draw a rectangle shape that is going to curve on the front side. This section is extruding more at the big toe part and less at the pinky toe part. And if we're gonna delete the X-ray lines, it will look like this. Now let's look at the foot from the bottom. We're not going to see the leg part for this one. So the first segment will be the heel. From this angle, the lower part of it will be a round or triangular like I did, but the upper part is going to be square so that we can attach the next triangular segment. The middle segment will have the outer part going out and at the end a little part going in. But for the inner part, the part of the big toe will have a straight line, then is going to end before the line we drew first, then a line going out and another going in. This will make the segment look longer on the big toe part. It's very important that you add this bumpy segment before the big toe. Alright, we can close this segment with a sort of an arc or a straight line indicating a bend showing a bump on the big toe side. Alright, let's work on the toes area. Let's make 2 areas, one for the big toe and the other one for the rest of the toes, going smaller as it reaches the pinky. There are many fat pads on the sole of the foot, and 2 of these will be below the toes, looking like this. Another fat pad is at the heel, so the space between the 2 groups of fat pads will create a gap, the one I mentioned on the side view of the foot. Do not forget, this gap or dip is only on the side of the big toe. Now, this foot looks pretty good, but we can make the toe area a little bit bigger. Also, we can emphasize the big toe bump area. There. And with this we did the overview of the foot in 3 angles. Let's take it a step further and create some interesting foot poses. Alright, let's look at 2 feet standing on the ground. Starting with the left foot. This one will be facing us almost directly. We start by drawing the leg segment, then under it the heel cylinder. We can indicate it with just a line for now, and on the other side, let's draw a slanted line for the middle segment. On the inner side of the foot, the other line for the middle section will go down and have a big toe bump. Then we draw the toe section. Again, I remind you that this section is round and the big toe side is bigger, more prominent than the pinky. Alright, after having that, let's tackle the toes. Oh boy. Let's make a separation for 5 toes. The first one is much bigger than the rest, and the other ones go subsequently smaller. Let's start drawing the big toe, and for this one, make a curved zigzag line. Go from small at the top, where the toe connects to the leg, to big, then medium for the front part of the toe. Let's fix the curve of the toe area, and then we can make the rest of the toes. The rest of the toes will have 3 joints instead of 2, like the big toe. So this means that these toes will in most cases bend downwards. But we still can indicate these toes with just 2 segments. Again, from big to small, the pinky will be very small and very short. Let's fix the line on the outer part of the foot. Then let's indicate the ankle bones. The outer ankle bone will sit lower than the inner ankle bone. Remember this because it's important. Inner up, outer down. And if you're confused, when I say inner, I mean the side of the big toe. As a finishing touch, let's make the big toe bump, the one before the toe, with a better shape and add some nails to indicate form. The big toe nail will sit facing the sky, but the rest of the nails will be facing the front, almost. And there we have it, our first full-fledged foot. Pretty cool. Let's see some other feet a little bit quicker this time. If we imagine that the other foot, the right one, is resting next to it, let's draw it from the side. We start from the leg segment, and the heel part, the middle triangle, and then the toes. It's a foot from the side profile, but let's make it more interesting with adding a little bit of the top. Now, let's define some good lines for these sections. The heel is roundish, the middle has a dip, since the big toe is on this side. Then, the big toe area creates a bump, and also the toe. Let's indicate more toes at the back, then we can just finish the upper part of the leg, and there we have it. Now, let's make it a little bit more interesting and draw one foot from below. Let's start the leg segment, like it would be bending towards us. The heel part is also coming towards us, making the bottom to be seen most. Now, the triangle section is a little bit bent from this position. Bending on the lower half of the bottom part, the upper part will have a smooth curve, and let's not forget the form of the toe area, more bumpy at the big toe side. For the toes, the big one will almost be a rectangle, but the lower ones will be bending down and have very round tips. Let's make the lower part thicker, add an ankle bone, and just add an indication for the inner dip of the leg, also showing the little fat pad on the big toe side. Another view for the back would be very similar to the side view we did. Everything will be squashed, but not the heel part, and add some indication for the backbone that is there. I believe that is the talus bone, but correct me if I'm wrong. Next, it's a pretty funny view to draw. It's the front kind of view, a little bit from below. So the leg and heel part is going to be pretty simple. Next, for the triangle segment, we just need to draw a sort of bean with a bigger side on that big toe side. After that, we can just add the toes with sort of beans too, especially for the big toe. And for the rest, I find it easy to draw circles for the tips, then erase and connect smaller lines. Next, let's draw a foot standing on the toes. The foot is going to be bent and the triangle part is going to be vertical. Now for the toes, in this pose, there should be more straight to the ground, but the first iteration of this was kind of a fail, so I'll come and fix it at the end, making the triangle section shorter and the toes more straight. Alright, on the final foot pose, let's make it also from the back, resting on the toes. It's going to have its two fatty pads resting flat on the floor and just have the pinky visible. Since the pinky is on this side, the tip of the middle is on the other side, so let's indicate it with a line starting from the heel. Alright, that'll be it for this video. Make sure to use this information for art only, keep it decent, no weird stuff, alright? Thank you for watching this video, and if you got value out of it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and maybe share this video with a friend that also sucks at drawing the feet. Alright, I'll catch you in the next session.